In a story you'll see only on Q13 Fox News, a Washington logger is going viral after a good deed thousands are calling a miracle more than a quarter century in the making. Jamie Tompkins gets to the root of the story.
It was all timber all up against us, you know.
A good logger knows every branch has a trunk, every trunk has a root, and every root has a story.
Today, you would not be able to have found it.
One such story would connect this Washington logger with a complete stranger nearly 3,000 miles away.
He was a very experienced pilot, and they flew that morning out of Portland to Seattle and never arrived.
Joyce Wharton's parents, Hugh and Hazel, went missing while flying their four-seater plane over western Washington back in 1959.
They didn't find my parents' remains until 1972.
14 years later, Washington hunters discovered the crash site just a few miles outside of Centralia.
And at that time, they really didn't find anything. They found my dad's wallet and, a few little buttons.
But the root of the story would take over a quarter century to surface.
There's a little small cedar tree there, and I'm digging in the roots of this and flipped that ring out.
Nick Buchanan found the gold diamond ring while on a hike in 1997.
It was as pretty as the day it went in the ground.
He knew it had to belong to the couple who died in the plane crash back in '59, and so for nearly 20 years, he kept it safe.
And I never once thought it belonged to me. I just was hoping that there was a daughter or a family member that I could turn it over to.
Recently, Nick's nephew and a friend did some research online, which led them to Joyce in New Jersey.
Sunday morning, he called me, and he asked me some questions to make sure that I was the right person. And so then he said, Joyce, I found your mother's wedding ring, and I want to give it back to you. He says, I've been looking for you for about, I think he said around 14 years.
Joyce received the ring in the mail on Wednesday.
It's a little 5-stone band on an old wrinkled hand, I'll have to say, but that's all right.
5 stones for every decade it took to make it back home.
To just think it must be impossible. How could that happen, to get a ring back after all those years?
Had the tree grown just a few more years, it would have been covered up forever.
Every branch has a trunk, every trunk a root, and every root a story. And maybe the root of this story,
I'm just an old logger. Maybe I was chosen for the job. It just worked out.
Proves that miracles really do exist.
Maybe it is a miracle.
A miracle. It's just a miracle.
Jamie Tompkins, Q13, Fox News.
You have to think about all the things that had to happen for him to find that ring.
It was a miracle. Yeah. I got to agree with that.
It's an awesome story.
You love it. All right, Walter, we're having some pretty awesome weather.